Okay. I think everything is good. We'll do that one there. Okay. So today we are playing Unsolved Case File. I just bought this today. So it's the Jane Doe one, unknown victim, and Del Fuego Island fire. The murder mystery game that lets you be a cold case detective. So the murder mystery game that lets you be a cold case detective. Just after 1 a.m. on April 23rd, 2001, a blazing fire broke out in a cabin at the Del Fuego Rehab Center. The charred body of an unidentified female was found underneath the structure. Investigators determined the fire was started intentionally in an attempt to cover up a murder. There were only 5 people on the island at the time, but police were unable to identify the killer or the victim. After several months of investigation, detectives closed the case. Who is Jane Doe? How did she get to the island? Who killed her? And do you have what it takes to solve the case? All right, so we have all of this stuff. And then let me turn up the music a little bit. If you can hear it, great. If not, oh well. Okie dokie. Now dive into the evidence. And of course, I ripped that horribly. So I played these a few times before. They're actually a lot of fun. Sometimes they can be very frustrating because you have to go to like different different websites as well. Do not open until after completing objective 1, objective 2, and objective 3. Okay. And I got my notebook too. So of course, I'm gonna make a huge mess of my office. Okay. Instructions. Unsolved case file is named blah. Case number D304232001. Find out how Jane Doe got to the island. 1 of 3. When you figure out how Jane Doe got to the island, visit this website to see if you're right. After completing objective 1, you may open bonus envelope. Right. And I have it pulled up already, ready to go. I haven't. I don't really know if I can share it. Well, when we get there, I'll share it because I just have the main thing set up where as all the different cases, and you can look at it. All right, so contains photographs relevant to the investigation. Do not bend. Okay, we'll look at this in a second. This is the sketch of Jane Doe. I don't know if you can see that very well. My camera's angled so weird. Anyway, this is the case file inventory list. Charred remains of Jane Doe found in the island fire. The severe burned body of an unidentified young woman was found underneath a cabin in the early morning hours today at the Del Fuego Rehab Center on Del Fuego Island. Officials have already ruled the fire as arson and believe it was an attempt to cover up a murder. The victim has been determined to be a young female between the ages of 17 to 24. Detective Kate Dickinson of the Paulownia Police Department is conducting the homicide investigation. No one is currently allowed to leave or come on to the island other than suspects, witnesses, and investigators. There were 5 people on the island at the time, 4 patients and the center's counselor, Christopher King. The patients include award-winning actress Ava B. Lawrence, former supermodel Paula May, Safety Net Inc. CEO Rob Knox, and Jack Danner, the husband of the world-renowned modeling agent Angela Bell. As of yet, no arrests have been made. Dr. Kendra Matthews, director of the Del Fuego Rehab Center, released the following statement. I speak for the entire staff when I say that we are both deeply saddened and thoroughly devastated to learn that a young woman's body was found here on the premises of our beautiful facility. Since 1976, the Del Fuego Rehab Center has been a safe haven for the storms of life for all of our patients, a place of healing where our clients have always felt completely secure and supported. This comes as a definite shock to all of us, but it is an isolated incident, and I want to assure everyone that the safety and well-being of our patients is our utmost concern here at Del Fuego. Police are asking anyone who might know anything about the identity of this young woman to please call Detective Kate Dickinson at 310-555-4387. And then we have the police sketch of her, where the body was discovered under a burned building about 12 miles south of the marina, and then an actual photo of the place. Okay, so on the back, Malibu police are searching for an 18-year-old woman who has not been seen since late January. Authorities say Kaya Martinez was last spotted around midnight on January 27th near the 2300 block of South Lee Street. Kaya is described as a 5 feet 4 inches tall, 130 pounds, with brown eyes and shorter length black hair. She was last seen wearing a Charlotte Hornets sweatshirt and cargo pants. VA opens new gambling addiction treatment center in Los Angeles. There's Paula May. Wasn't she one of the? Yeah, Paula May. She was one of the people that were there. LA County recovers from intense rain, wind, and flooding. So maybe it might be Kaya? Yeah. Okay. Case closed. Detective Lieutenant Dominic F. Vasquez to Detective Kate Dickinson. The homicide investigation of Jane Doe at Del Fuego Rehab Center. So this is in California. Malibu. Okay. Facts of the case. On Monday, January 23rd, 2001, at 5:37 a.m., the Paulina Fire Department got a call from Ari Urowitz, head of the security from the Del Fuego Rehab Center, about an overnight fire in cabin number 2. The fire had already been extinguished by heavy rain. During their investigation, the fire department identified proof of arson in a severely burned body underneath the cabin. They immediately called us. The body was that of an unidentified young woman between the ages of 17 and 24. The female victim was not a person who was supposed to be on the island. There were 5 people on the island at the time. All 5 were suspects. We narrowed down the potential identities of Jane Doe to 5 women, all reported missing, including the data obtained from the body. We can't figure out how Jane Doe got to the island, who she is, or who killed her. Prime suspects are Christopher King, the addiction counselor, lied about personal drug use, and had an altercation with a missing girl who could be Jane Doe. Paula May, food addict, attacked someone on the island for taking her photo. Jack Danner, alcoholic, violent outbursts when security took alcohol he tried to smuggle in, also known to be a womanizer. Ava B. Lawrence, cocaine addict, history of destructive and narcissistic behavior. And Rob Knox, gambling addict, suspect in a 1995 unsolved murder case, displayed violent behavior at the marina just prior to boarding the boat to the island. Conclusion: the identity of Jane Doe was never discovered, and we are unable to link her to any of the suspects. The victim's information was uploaded to the National Jane Doe database. No conclusive evidence was found to make a conviction or press charges. Close case until additional information comes out. Arson investigation. Monday, 23rd, received the call. Learned of the incident at 1:07 a.m. when the counselor contacted him by the phone. The security asserted that the fire was no longer active as it had been extinguished by the rain. Since all individuals were unharmed and accounted for, there wasn't a need for us to investigate daybreak for routine inspection documentation at that point, as they realized lightning from the storm may have ignited the fire. So it's Donald Rimgale and Lieutenant Stephen McCaffrey. I, along with Lieutenant Stephen McCaffrey, arrived at the island shortly after 8:15 that morning. And upon initial viewing, what remained of the structure, we concluded that approximately 90% of it had been destroyed. We detected the distinct smell of gasoline. While searching for the source of fire, we uncovered the body burned beyond recognition, what remained of the crawl space underneath the structure. Immediately upon making this discovery, we called the PD at 8:24. The heat signature, along with the evidence, clearly showed that the majority of the gasoline was poured on or near the body, and that is where the fire originated. We found both a gas can and a Zippo lighter near the body, validating our certainty. Lighter belongs to Christopher King. Oh, dang. Okay. And the gas can belongs to the facility maintenance team. Several witnesses confirmed Mr. King used both the lighter and the gasoline earlier that evening to start a fire and left both items at the fire pit where all parties of the people on the island can access them. The fire was intentionally started with gasoline and a lighter, both found on the scene. The fire originated in the area beneath the cabin where the body was found. Strongly suspect the body was doused in gasoline before the fire started. The victim was dead or unconscious before the fire started, and the fire was a feeble attempt to hide the evidence. Lighter and gas can were so badly burned in the fire that what any remaining forensic evidence, like fingerprints or material fire. Let's see. Oh, autopsy report. Race undetermined, 90 to 140, 5'9" to 6'1". Near skeletal condition remains with excessive burns and charring throughout the victim's body, crushed sternum, body burn and char beyond recognition. Crushed sternum and broken ribs ruptured the aorta and collapsed the lung. Manner of death: a crushing blow to the sternum resulted in multiple internal injuries and near sudden death. And extensive internal injuries: victim most likely suffocated due to internal breathing, collapsed lung. Even with a complete skeleton, this was all we could determine due to the fire damage. Female, 17 to 24, 5'9" to 6'1", 90 to 148, and gap between two front teeth. Unable to determine anything that attacked her from the injuries. Oh, it's a little brochure. It's 1976. Our esteemed director, Dr. Kendra Matthews, message for new patients. You've come to us as strangers on the most difficult journey of your lives, but you leave us family with maps in hand to fully direct you to continue down the road to recovery. Place your full trust in us, as we've never dealt with an addiction that we could not successfully help someone help. Stays in their own cabin, providing personal safe haven for the storms of life. All the common areas and activities ignite a strong sense of fellowship. Okay. Let's see. Just 12 miles off the California coast. Rewarding staff nurtures minds, body, spirits, both through traditional holistic approaches, through intense one-on-one sessions, as well as support group therapy. We treat individuals' specific and unique needs. Okay, this is the boat, I'm assuming. Oh, and then here's the girls. Kim, Rose, Louisa, Maria, Jasmine, and the Lynn. So, but with this one, I mean, I'm just going to make a note of this, but there's also Martinez. I don't, this might not be nothing. It might just be like something they put on the back that kind of psych you out. But, okay, well, we'll keep that. I have the fan on. It is so warm in this room right now. But I'll keep this together. All right. Missing person. Oh, I think it's all 5 of them. I'm going to get into a suspect. Yeah, these are all 5 of the missing persons report. Okay, so let's see. Last contact was June 16th of 2000. So this one was made the day of the fire, April 23rd, 2001. She was 5'11", 30, 40, gap between teeth, sharp tattoo on ankle. This was 5. Last seen was 98. I hate when they put stuff over top of that because then you can't. Anxiety attacks, mental state, Florence, Wisconsin. Night. It doesn't say what day. Okay. See, last seen 4/16/95. She was in the area. She went missing 2000. Keep up with them. Okay, these are our suspects. Christopher King, Ava Lawrence, Jack Banner. Oh, dang. She looks like she got beat up. Paula May. It might be this, just the soot. That looks wild. Rob Knox. Okay. So what's an objective again? Crap, I forgot already. When you figure out how Jane Doe got to the island, visit the webpage to see her right. Okay. So let's dive into Christopher. It's probably where they have the boat, because I think they took the boat there, so. Oh, I need to also. Okay. Let's see. So this is the person of interest. He's an employee. Last night, I decided to not go back to my cabin and instead went over to the main house to go over the new patient's files. I really like to know as much as I can about them before we get into my intense sessions. I was there until I heard a commotion on the other side of the island. I hurried back to find my cabin engulfed in flames. Paula even risked her life to try and save me. After the fire went out, everyone was way too amped to sleep, so I figured it was the perfect opportunity to gather together for an intense all-night group session back at the main house. I think we made some incredible progress. Before we knew it, Ari and the fire department arrived. I don't know what to say about the dead body, but I had absolutely nothing to do with it. This whole thing was a lot to process. Watching the cabin burn down to the ground, along with my entire collection of rhyming, motivational one-liners, was really distressing. I was in talks with a publisher, and I have to start over. Not sure I even have the heart to start. Black file. Witness statement. Okay. So witness statement, Dr. Kendra Matthews. I make the statement voluntarily. Okay. First, I want to say that I speak for all of the staff here at the Del Fuego Rehab Center when I say we are deeply saddened by this tragic event. We will cooperate 100% with anything you need. I've been the CEO and physician in charge of the Del Fuego Rehab Center for the past 7 months, and for the past 5 years, Christopher King has worked for us as an addiction counselor. Christopher fills everyone with hope almost from the moment they step foot onto the island. He knows how important that is to their journey since he was once in their shoes. He also knows firsthand what a difficult path they are embarking on and works tirelessly to clear the road of all obstacles that might cause them to stumble and fall. Granted, some of his methods might be a little unorthodox, i.e., death therapy. However, we fully embrace a holistic approach to healing and have found his methods to be highly effective. I should also add that he is a very well-respected TV counselor on the Sally Jesse Donahue show and has helped countless people through his efforts. There's even something in the works about giving him his own show. I believe the working title is Putting Out the Fires of Addiction with Christopher King. For the most part, Christopher's record here has been explanatory. Before I took over, there were a few minor incidences where he snuck girlfriends out to the island. We have a very strict policy against allowing anyone on the island who isn't a patient or staff member. That rule wasn't exactly enforced by my predecessor, but after I came on board and hired Ari, the problem was solved. Between Ari and his dog Scout, we've got the best security money can buy. Scout is truly amazing. I remember the first day he came to Del Fuego. He stepped one paw onto the island, and immediately his ears perked up and he darted off into the bushes. It turned out one of Christopher's girlfriends was hiding somewhere on the other side of the island. It's a good thing Ari chased after him because Scout nearly ripped her arm off before Ari got there to make him release. Now, all the staff are well aware that if they're caught harboring guests, they will be fired, not to mention the possibility of their guests also getting mauled to death. We've had no problems in that regard since. Every evening before he takes the Captain Hook back to the main island, Ari and Scout conduct a complete inspection of the island. Christopher calls it the Ari Safari. If there was anyone on the island before they left, dead or alive, Scout would have found them. Okay. So this is the investigation team. Please state your full name for the record. Christopher Aiden King, and you're the addiction counselor here, right? For how long? Yes, that's right. I've been a counselor here for 5 years. Are you famous? Feels like I've seen you. Are you an actor? Not an actor, but I am famous. I'm a regular on the Sally Jesse Donahue show. Yeah, that's where they're always throwing chairs, right? You're also a former addict. Yes, to being a former addict, it helps me, relate to the patients. There must be a great asset, I suppose. Otherwise, it would be like the blind leading the blind, if the counselor didn't practice what he preached. Right. If a drug counselor got caught using, he'd lose his license, right? Right again. Makes sense. How long have you been clean? Going on 9 years now. Good for you. I understand a few days ago, a staff member reported seeing you take drugs from the holding cabinet where stuff sometimes smuggled in by patients is stored. Yeah, that was her story. One of our housekeepers, Maria, never trusted her. I actually caught her riffling through the cabinet. She fabricated the story about me taking drugs instead of her. They didn't take her accusation seriously as they checked her first and found a bunch of Percocets. Accusing me was a sad attempt at saving herself. Any idea where she is now? None. She was fired. And apparently also missing. No one's seen her in days. Maybe she's strung out somewhere. Who knows? So I heard Scout hates you. What on earth does that have to do with anything? It's not me. That dog is a menace. Bit me on 3 separate occasions right in the butt. And each time all Ari did was laugh and tell Scout he's a good boy. Christopher, where were you last night between 10:30 and 1 a.m.? People thought you were still in your cabin. Paula May even busted down the door to save you. Yes, that was really big of her, and I thanked her profusely. I was at the main building going over the new patient's files one more time. That's very dedicated of you. It's odd, though, because when you finally showed up, you were seen coming from the other direction. Okay, I lied about that. I wasn't studying patient files. I was over on the other side of the island. Doing what? Relaxing, writing some poetry, if you must know. There's a cave over there, and it's quite peaceful. You can't imagine the pressures of this job. Are they enough to start using again? No, of course not. Then why did we find a bag of marijuana and pills right next to a poem that appears to be written by you? Recognize this? Are you the Fire King, Christopher? It's my work, yes, but the drugs aren't mine. I just found them on the ground and had to make sure they didn't fall into the wrong hands. That's part of my job, you know. I'm going to have you take a drug test. It's just a formality so we can confirm your story. That's absurd. I'm an addiction counselor, a famous addiction counselor. Look, you can either take it willingly or a drug will make you take it. What? Look, there's absolutely no reason to do that. Or you can just tell me the truth. Okay. I occasionally smoke some weed. No big deal. It helps me relax, and the pills were from a recent back injury I aggravated at the dock. The pills weren't prescribed to you. What's with all these questions? I'm an addiction therapist. I'm on TV. What do you want from me? The truth. As in, what were you really doing last night? I was at the cave and stayed there until I heard the commotion. How did your cabin burn down? Because it was on fire? Don't get cute with me. I heard you're a genius at starting bonfires on damp nights. So? So I think you set the fire. You're the Fire King. That's nuts. The lighter and gas were at the fire pit for anyone to grab. Were you in love with Maria? That's preposterous. No. Was she blackmailing you? No. For what? She was on pills. You can't trust her. As an addiction expert, I can tell you. Let me stop you right there, Mr. King. It's you I don't trust. You clearly just admitted to using and lied about it, so I'm not really interested in your professional assessments. Well, I just think you want to know what I think, Mr. King? I think you burned down your own cabin with her underneath, and I'm gonna figure out why. You're crazy. There's nothing to figure out here. Why did you persuade Ari not to call the authorities till the morning? What? That was his idea. The fire was out. Everyone was safe. Not the girl under the cabin. She wasn't safe, Chris, and it turns out to be Maria. You're going to have a lot more to worry about than just losing your counselor's life. Okay, so that's him. Oh, and here's the poem. I Am the Fire King, a poem by C.A. King. A burning ember from the past gave me warmth but left too fast. I long to feel that heat again in those flames eternal spreads. I'm assuming it goes back and forth. That is what the soul desires, to roast in such delightful fires, once more for always until the end, to be in love and not pretend. The charred remains of hearts gone cold conceals my longing for the things untold. But when I met you, sparks ignited, so many wrongs in life were righted. You fueled my fire, sent it blazing. For you to me were just amusing. but swiftly things went up in smoke when I caught you with that other blow. God. It had to end with scorching flares. For consequence, I have no cares. You're dead to me, true love smothered. You are, in fact, just like my mother. That's weird. Okay, dude. um. All right. Well, that is Christopher Keene. That's the counselor. They came back together. Like he's even covered in soot. Like part of me is just like, why is everybody covered in soot? There's Ava Lawrence. So I first didn't realize that this is the boat that I taken. But I wonder. I want to look at these photos. I was gonna wait until after I looked through but I want to look at these photos because I'm beginning to wonder if there's like a hidden compartment in the yacht. Maybe there is. I don't know. Okay. I think I got it. Right. Oh no, there's something else. Oh, it's magnifying. That's cool. Jeez. Okay. All right. So, oh god. Okay. If you don't like seeing dead bodies, trigger warning. I know it might be hard to see, but these are actual. Well, they're not like actual bodies. They're probably rendered. So then this was the how. Yeah, the cabin that burned down. That's the security guard. The CEO. Why a producer? Why do you need a producer? Reporter. Oh. These are the people. Do I use this? Oh, I can't use this. Oh, dear Scout. Being a little Scout. Okay. And I think we're back. Yeah, then we're back to the beginning. Okay. I'm gonna put those up there. But there has to. She either works there, or there has to be like a little stowaway. A little stowaway area. Okay. So just look at him. Go away. Okay. Let's look at her. Ava Lawrence. Even she got soot and stuff all over her. Let's see. Okay. After our campfire was over, I decided to go to this over the script changes in my latest film. I was rehearsing a scene when I noticed a red ember float past the window. I stepped onto the porch and saw the counselor's cabin on fire. I started screaming because I thought he was inside, and within a few moments, the rest of the patients were out there yelling as well. We didn't know it was empty until after Paula busted down the door off the hinges and nearly died trying to rescue the guy. The counselor, King, appears out of nowhere and says he was reviewing our files in the main house, but he came from the other direction. And Rob asked him about that, but he changed the subject right away, said we must take advantage of this opportunity for an emergency group intervention, and dragged us up to the main house for some ridiculous all-night session. It was very weird. He seemed kind of angry and yelled a lot. Something's not right about that guy. He was really feely with me at the marina, too. We were all alone in our cabins because that's what Counselor King told us to do after the campfire was over. Okay. Witness statement. Oh, her producer. So that was what the picture was. Okay. So Ava B. Lawrence is currently under contract at the Hollywood Hills Studios as an actress. She's one of our biggest names. Ava has done 4 films with us, and we are currently in production on her 5th. She's simply box office gold. Ava gives 110% when the cameras are rolling and has an uncanny ability to memorize her lines almost instantly. Even though she knows how to play the part of a charming young actress, Ava can be difficult to work with as she demands perfection from herself and everyone else. Even the slightest screw up from another actor, cameraman, caterer, or if one of her hairs is out of place, she completely loses it. It was brought to my attention that one of the costume designers had seen her snorting cocaine in her trailer. I was extremely disappointed. She knows I have no tolerance for that sort of thing at my studio. Had it been anyone else, I would have fired them on the spot, but she's our biggest star and currently under contract, so that would be difficult. I spoke to her about getting help and told her that if she doesn't check into rehab ASAP, she was fired. She agreed and said she'd never let anything stand in the way of being the best actress she could be. Stupidly, I believed her. In my defense, she's one heck of an actress. For a while, she seemed fine and showed no signs of using. But after a few weeks, Ava's behavior became increasingly worse. Several times, she took out her anger on inanimate objects. After hearing that she had yet another violent outburst on set, this time destroying a $250,000 camera, I gave instructions for Ava to go directly to her trailer and wait for me. She blew me off and left the set, crashing into my Bentley on the way out. She took off and was soon being chased by the police department. They were only able to catch up with her, ironically, after her car ran out of gas directly in front of the theater where her current movie, Busted, was playing. Her lawyers are working a deal to keep her out of jail and the story out of the press. I'm not sure how they managed it, but I'm sure it wasn't cheap. I don't care though. I just want her to get clean so she can finish this latest superhero film. I have a feeling those are going to be really popular one day. I've known Ava for many years, since she was around 10, in fact. She'd come from hours and hours and just sit there, watching her mother act. Barbara was a great actress in her day too. Ava may be spoiled, prissy, and hard to get along with at times, but in no way is she capable of murder. Okay. Detective, please state your full name for the record. Ava Barbara Lawrence. Can you please tell me why you checked into the Del Fuego Rehab Center? Don't most of the rich and famous people in show business check into quaint little rehab centers at some point? It's practically in vogue these days. But you asked me why I'm here, so I'll tell you my little secret. I'm a coke addict, but I'm determined to beat this. Drugs are so bad, and if Ava B. Lawrence can get hooked, it can happen to anyone. If you can hear that thumping, I'm so sorry. My neighbors are jackasses. Detective, if you're serious about being this, I wish you all the best luck. Thanks, but luck won't be necessary. I may flinch at the thought of breaking a nail, but I'm as tough as nails when I'm determined to succeed. I think I heard you say that in a movie promo once. Good line. I see you here. You were arrested for DUI, possession of cocaine, leaving the scene of an accident, and evading the police. Rumor has it the studio told you to check into rehab or you're fired. It really isn't the way it looks. They adore me. They're just looking out for my best interests. I understand your lawyers have managed to keep you out of jail and out of the press. Yes, that's correct. That wasn't cheap. Pretty lucky if you ask me. Well, no one ever said being Ava B. Lawrence doesn't have its perks. You must have flinched quite a bit lately. I'm sorry. Your nails. They're short and jagged. You said you flinched at the thought of breaking one. Oh, that. I'm playing a superhero named Blaze. She can put out fires with her fingertips. I'm doing all of my own stunts, and let me tell you, it's absolutely hell on my nails. Sounds like you have a new line for the next promo tour. When's the next new movie coming out? Next summer. Let's hope you aren't sitting in jail for murder during the release. What in the world are you talking about? You're not quite the actress in real life as you are on screen, Miss Lawrence. It's quite clear you're only here playing the part of an actress who wants to get clean. You're just trying to get back to your cocaine-snorting superhero life. Look, whether that's true or not, and it certainly isn't, what does that have to do with murder? Who was under the cabin, Ava? Did anyone find out you were snitch and come out to get you? What are you talking about? What's a snitch? I saw you invested, so I know you're fully aware of what a snitch is. I understand you wore a wire on your drug dealer to avoid prison time. Who else knew? What? No one. How did you know that? I don't even wear the wire. I didn't even wear the wire yet. There were only supposed to be a few people who knew about that, and now you, I guess. Well, it shouldn't be hard for you to confirm with them. We didn't even do it yet. Feels like you're hiding something from me, Ava. Did anyone come out here to pay you a visit, drop off a little nose candy, perhaps? You're insane. You know, maybe you ought to focus your attention on the Psycho X supermodel Paula. She's been acting like a real whack job ever since we were here at the marina. Barely spoke to anyone on the Captain Hooked, glared at everybody, especially me, and spent most of her time in her cabin. She even went nuts on some poor waitress. Then, last night, she tried her very best to act like a hero instead of the murderous monster she really is. Paula May, supermodel turned superhero? Give me a break. I hear you tried to stop her from going in the cabin to rescue Christopher. Well, that was just stupid on her part. We had two guys standing right there, and just because one was a pretty boy and the other too scared to try and get the door open, it didn't mean she should risk life and limb. I certainly wasn't going to. But she got down in a three-point stance and then rammed into that door so hard it flew off the hinges. Turned out he wasn't even in there. He showed up out of nowhere right after she busted through. We're going to be searching your cabin later. Anything you want to tell me about? No, I don't have any coke. If that's what you're asking, go right ahead and search my whole cabin. Degrading as hell, but can't wait to prove you wrong. Y'all owe me a huge apology, maybe even your badge. By the way, is there anyone alive who can vouch your whereabouts last night between 10:30 and 1 a.m.? Cute. And no, there isn't. You must know, I couldn't sleep, so I went over my lines. They made major changes to the script and handed it to me the day I left for rehab. Why don't you test me in the lines if you don't believe me, detective? Don't need to. I'm already reading between the lines, Ava. That will be all for now. Oh, and then her thing. Yeah, Rosa Cruz. April 7th, 2001. She's been buying Lego dress forever there since the night party. On April 19th, offered assistance in gathering and incriminating evidence against Rosa Cruz. Lorenzo suggested leader to wear wire. Okay, so he's about to. She hasn't yet. There's her paper. Okay. So we got to figure out how she got on there. Part of me thinks that she either worked there or she hitched a ride somehow. Let me text my husband. Okay. Let's see. TWI. Okay. After a pathetically long and boring group session at the fire pit, I returned to my cabin and went to bed around 11. I slept silently until I heard a woman screaming fire and went out to see the counselor's cabin had turned into a blazing inferno. Then the next morning, they go and discover a dead body under there. Makes no sense because according to Ari, there were only 5 of us on the island, not 6. Maybe instead of spending all his time rummaging through people's personal belongings, he should busy himself by learning how to count. Jeez, okay. Oh, this is Ari's account of him. This is his rest report. He was going 94 miles per hour on a 45 speed limit at 1:51 a.m. March 23rd at 1:51 a.m. 2001. Officer Roscoe Denton clocked a red 2001 Jaguar with a California license plate traveling 94 miles and a 45 mile per hour southbound on Seacliff Road. Thank you. I appreciate you. I get a drink. I was going dry. Apparently, he had a blood alcohol concentration to be 1.7%. Young woman who was initially passed out indicated Rebecca Burns. I just love that line. Mr. Danner claimed he was only trying to be a gentleman and give her a ride. Officer Roscoe Denton took her home instead, like the true gentleman he is. That's funny. Okay. This is Ari's witness statement. So I'm the head of security for the Del Fuego Rehab Center, and I, along with my trusty sidekick scout, keep the island safe from outsiders and protect the patients from both themselves and each other. I also drive our boat, the Captain Hooked, bringing employees and patients to and from the island every day. Scout, my highly trained security dog, is my first mate. This morning at 1:07 a.m., I got a call from our counselor, Chris King. He reported there had been a fire in the cabin. He thought it was caused by lightning and said the place went up freakishly quick and burned to a crisp. Luckily, the heavy rain put it out. After learning everyone was safe and accounted for, I decided to wait until daybreak to call in the authorities for a routine inspection. I arrived to the island at the same time as the fire department. Things got real very quickly. First, they found the lighter in the gas can proving it was arson. Then they found a body under the rubble. For the record, Scout and I conducted an extensive security check yesterday evening before we left for the mainland. We walked the whole island to make sure no one was lurking around. It's our nightly routine, and King even started calling it the Ari Safari. He thinks he's Johnny Cochran with all his rhymes. And now that stupid phrase has caught on with the staff. Maybe I should train Scout to relieve himself inside King's secret cave he thinks no one knows about as a token of my gratitude. Anyways, if there was another person living or dead on Del Fuego Island when we left at dusk, Scout would have been all over them. Only the counselor and the 4 guests were there. I'd bet my mother's life on it. But with this cast of characters, I'm not surprised all hell broke loose. Rest assured, one of them is guilty. I don't know who, but here's what I can tell you. Just after we stepped onto the island's dock yesterday, I found a motherload of liquor in Jack Danner's suitcase. I'm talking enough booze to get Rhode Island drunk. How clueless could this dude be? It's not like this is a rehab center or anything. Oh, it's not like this is a rehab center or anything. Told him nicely this wasn't a cruise and started removing bottles. That moron went ballistic. He shoved me up against a pylon and started screaming and swearing in my face. Amongst the other assorted, colorful, and creative explicitives, he said, "Put it back or I'll mess you up so bad your own mother won't even recognize you." Oh, dang. All the other ones didn't have it back. He did. He does. Oh, it's probably because he's going through each one. Dude has no business mentioning my mother, and he was getting unruly, so I had to put him into a mounted choke position. King tried to intervene, but got pushed into the water somehow and started screaming like a sopranic schoolgirl that he hern, her, hern, herniated. I can't say. I can't say that word. Herniated a disc. What do you even do with a guy like that? After that episode, chatted with Mr. Danner and impressed upon him how much nicer it'll be in his cabin with no booze than in a jail cell with a guy named Bruce. He agreed to let me take the sash and agreed to release him. No doubt, Jack Danner is an imbecile of epic proportions, but I can't tell you if he's a murderer. I can tell you that I spent over 10 years in Sayeta, 13, and studied carved manga for over 20, and if this dude can shove me up against a post like that, I'm sure he'd have no trouble overpowering an average person. As for Rob Knox, back at the Paulina Marina, a reporter asked him some questions, and I saw him grab her wrist like he wanted to rip it off. I was about to intervene when she took off. I gave him the eye, and trust me, he knew what it meant. Paula May, just wow. She may have been a great model, but there's something seriously up with her. Getting her to pose for a photo or a picture in front of the boat felt like trying to get an angry walrus on a surfboard. The whole boat ride, she just glowered at us. Later, in the dining room, she freaked out on a waitress, then cornered me, demanding to know the island was paparazzi free. It was, but even still, that woman needs to chill big time. Then there's Miss Ava Lawrence. Never met a chick so stuck up, and I live in California. Acts like she got no business being here. Hello? You're a drug addict. Anyway, there's one thing I give her credit for. Chris King was getting a bit too friendly with her during the group photo. So just after the flash snaps, she steps on his toe and pretends to lose her balance and knees him right where it hurts. Jude walked funny for an hour. She pretended it was an accident and acted sorry, but I've been around martial arts long enough to know when someone knows what they're doing. A couple days ago, Mr. King was accused of taking pills from the drug cabinet by Maria, one of our housekeepers. After she came to me, King claimed he actually caught her stealing the pills. I checked her bag, and lo and behold, there was a bottle full of Percocets in there. The situation felt weird to me, though, because Maria doesn't seem like the type. She's one of those vegans, and quite frankly, I never trusted King. Major reason being that my dog despises that dude. That being said, Scout worshipped the ground Maria walked on. When Scout wasn't on duty, he followed her everywhere like he was her personal protection unit. I hope this information helps you get to the bottom of this case. As the head of security here, I will do anything in my power to help facilitate your investigation. See, now that makes me think that it might be Maria that's underneath there, and because she worked there. See, now, okay, let me look at this really quick. Where's the. I wonder if. I know some of them had tattoos, but I wonder if because this is so charred, if you wouldn't be able. It doesn't look like it. Kendra, the producer, the reporter, the waitress. I'm trying to see if there's like some indication Hindi ke puppy do. A very cute puppy. No. Okay. Um, hmm. All right. Let's dive into his interview. Please state your full name for the record. Jack Diego Danner. Can you tell me why you checked into rehab? My wife thinks I drink too much. She's completely overacting as usual. Thing is, she's a lot older than me and acts like a mother hen, if you know what I mean. But I'm an easygoing guy, and she takes good care of me, so I do what I can to keep her happy. I hear you try to smuggle a sizable amount of alcohol onto the island. Are you sure you don't have a problem? Hey, look, I'm a social drinker, and this is group therapy. I just like to have a good time, and I needed to make sure things didn't get dull. Sounds like you made sure things wouldn't get dull before you guys even stepped onto dry land. You went a little nuts when Ari took your booze. I heard you shoved him against a pylon and told him you'd mess him up so bad his own mother wouldn't even recognize him. I might have overreacted just a tad. You think? Look, I was in a state, okay? I was seasick and he had his hands all over my stuff. Has drinking ever impaired your judgment? Of course not. What about your DWI last month? That traffic incident? Total misunderstanding. I'd only had a couple drinks at a company party. You blew 2 times the legal limit and even clocked going 94 and a 45. There was also a 21-year-old cocktail waitress passed out next to you. That was 2 in the morning, according to the police report. Kay was just trying to be a gentleman and give her a lift home. Didn't even know her. Heard she was walking home after her shift, so I tried to do the right thing. Did you try to sell that story to your wife? I can't imagine she bought it. Nope, she hadn't. She's had me followed everywhere since it happened, to be honest. I was looking forward to rehab so I can enjoy a little freedom. Freedom to do what exactly? I heard 3 of the female staff members have already complained about you hitting on them. Complained? I'm just a friendly guy, that's all. Look, the last thing I need is for my wife to hear these crazy accusations. If word gets back, I'll be out on the street without a dime. Guess she doesn't trust you very much. Wonder why. Okay, just about had it here, detective. You have no business sticking your nose in my personal life. Last time I checked, you had a dead body to deal with. That's right, I do have a dead body to deal with, which is precisely why I have my nose stuck in your personal life. Tell me, Jack, did you invite the cocktail waitress to come over to the island so things, wouldn't get dull? I have no idea what you're talking about. How'd you get her out here, Jack? What? Thought you could keep it a secret, huh? Sneaking your girl onto the island, but you weren't counting on Ari and Scout sniffing around in your business. It was just too risky. She ended up being far more of a problem than an amusement for you. I really don't know what you're talking about here. The island's a lot smaller than you thought. You knew you couldn't keep the girl a secret, so you got rid of her. Or maybe you thought your wife set you up. Makes sense, don't you think? No, it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. So Ari takes all your booze. You start getting the shakes, feeling a little paranoid, and suddenly this girl is a risk you can't afford, so you took care of her. No, I didn't. I think you did, and then you burned the body to destroy the evidence. Do the right thing, Jack. Tell me what happened. We're going to find out who she is, and I doubt we'll have any trouble connecting her to you. It's not too late for us to work together to fix this. I can't believe this. I did not bring anybody out here with me, and I didn't kill anyone. Please don't let this line of questioning get back to my wife. If you didn't bring anybody out here, then why did we find an empty bottle of whiskey and 2 glasses in your cabin? Okay, I asked one of the waitresses, Wanda, I think, if she could get her hands on some of the liquor I brought. Told her there was $500 in it for her if she could, so she did, and we had a toast. I asked her if she wanted to help me finish the bottle. She said if she got caught, it'd cost her job. That was it, I swear. And she'll be able to verify this? I highly doubt it. She'd lose her job, remember? I see. So I assume there's no one who can verify your whereabouts between the hours of 10:30 and 1 a.m. There's no one, but I can assure you I was fast asleep by 11. I had a little too much Jack and was out cold until I heard people screaming fire. Too much Jack, huh? I can relate. My heart goes out to your wife. We're done for now. All right, and then that's the rest of it. Okay, so that is his. I really do think it might be Maria. I might look at her case, her file really quick about her missing, because let me see real quick. Jasmine Maria. She was 18, Hispanic female, 5 foot 11 inches, 138 pounds, black brown eyes. Something right hand. Oh, scar right hand. White polo shirt with the Del Fuego Rehab Center embroidered on it. Black skirt, white Keds, contact lenses. Last seen 4/20/01. Unknown, colorblind, and asthmatic. So she went missing on 4/20. I think this is her. Yeah, her mom. On 4/20/2001, Maria was fired from her job as a housekeeper at the Del Fuego Rehab Center. On 4/23/01, her mother filed a missing persons report. Hadn't answered the phone all weekend. Missed sister's birthday party. Mother checked in on her. 4/23. No one answered the door, but her car was home. Okay. It might. I don't know. I think it might be Maria. Let's see. I think it might be Maria, legitimately. Okay, so no, she wasn't. Huh. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I got about an hour left. I want to get through at least the first objective, and then we can table it for next time. There's like a little number, and it's like 6908. I'm not sure what that means. Okay. All right. Let's see what Paula has to say. Let's see here. Let me click back so I can. Okay. Former supermodel, 12 years. 2001, 2000. I was exhausted and fell asleep as soon as I returned my cabin off the bonfire until I was awoken to people screaming fire. I thought maybe the bonfire restarted, and then I looked and saw one of the cabins in full blaze. We were all worried Christopher was inside, but Rob, Jack, and Ava were no help whatsoever, so I took matters into my own hands and busted through the door to try to save him. I couldn't find him, but luckily I was able to get back out safely. Christopher showed up right then. He wound up pushing us into this somewhat disorganized group session that lasted the entire night after that. We had no idea about the dead body until the morning, and I honestly don't even know what to think about that because Ari swore to me on his mother's life that the island was 100% clear of any outsiders. I was asleep by myself. Wendy, this is the waitress. I worked at Del Fuego Rehab Center for the past 2 years on wait staff. I've always enjoyed meeting all the famous celebrities, and most of them have been really nice. Just before the dinner shift, I saw Paula standing over by the window with a glass in her hand, staring out towards the water. I was thrilled, as I've always been one of her biggest fans. She's not the same Paula May now, but I think she still looks good. I've never understood why some people think you have to be as thin as a rail to be attractive. Anyway, I grabbed my camera out of my purse and called out to her so I could get a picture. She freaked out sideways and threw her glass at me. It missed my head as it smashed into the wall, and she stormed over and yelled in my face, "Give me that film or I'll cram that camera down your skinny little throat." I was shaking, but managed to get the film out. She grabbed it and stormed out of the room. It was awful. When Ari heard what happened, he came to apologize to me because he hadn't briefed me on Paula's issues with cameras. That calmed me down a bit. I asked how sure he could be that there wasn't any paparazzi lurking somewhere on the island, but he assured me that he and Scout made sure the island was completely secure and devoid of any unsavory life forms. Ari always makes me laugh with the weird way he talks, but he and Scout really do a great job of keeping us safe on the island. When I got back to work, I was still a bit shaky and unfortunately ended up dumping a whole big serving tray of potato salad into Jack Donner's lap. He was nice about it though and told me I could make it up to him by going for a stroll around the island with him after dinner. I told him we weren't allowed to fraternize with the guests, then he winked at me and told me he didn't know what I was missing, which was kind of creepy. But with those warm brown eyes, it didn't bother me too much. Anyway, one thing I can say about my job here is that it's never boring. Paula, June, Marie, May. Can you please state your reason for being at rehab? I gained 40 pounds in the past 4 months and can no longer even fit my big toe into my skinny jeans. Does that answer your question? So you're addicted to eating. Bingo. Got any cheese doodles? Yeah, cheese doodles. Look, I've been there too. I know it's tough. After my son was born, my first husband left me and I turned to food. Heck, I practically married it. But what it's worth, I think you look great. Seriously, anyone who doesn't is warped in the head. Thanks, I guess. You are a very sought after model. Was the food addiction why you stopped? No, I didn't start eating everything in sight until the jobs stopped coming. They told me I was getting old, as if 30 meant I should wear housecoats, watch Jeopardy, and become a crazy cat lady. Huh, you're funny. Once the looks go, you gotta come up with a new gig. I'm thinking stand up. Sometimes people use humor to conceal the true feelings. I'm sure losing your career like that made you pretty bitter and angry. It crushed me, which was easy back then since I was all skin and bones. Are you married? I was, but once I started putting on the weight, he left me for someone the size of a walking stick. I heard you also withdrew from the public eye. Paparazzi made it their goal in life to photograph the super fat former supermodel, so I basically became a prisoner in my own home. That must have been awful. Yep, but I'm determined to stop doing this to myself and lose the weight so I can prove to the world, I'm not too old to model. I also want my ex-husband to see me settle it again because I know he'd come running back and dump that stick figure. But I don't want him back. I just want to make him grovel and then tell him to drop dead. I heard there was an altercation with someone delivering food to your house. It was all over the press. I hired people to bring me groceries, do fast food runs for me, raid the bakery before closing time, that kind of thing. So I didn't have to go out and be seen. I had discreet, dependable people until the paparazzi infiltrated them. Suddenly, there was a camera toting witch in my house. What happened? I smacked her across the face with a camera. Look, she came to my house under false pretenses and tried to strip me of my privacy. She deserved what she got. You broke her nose. You don't seem very remorseful about that. She had it coming. It was an ugly, bulbous nose anyways. It's not like it was going to ruin her modeling career or anything. And there was another camera incident yesterday afternoon. That waitress had no right to take my picture. I told her to give me the film. You threw a glass at her and threatened to cram a camera down her throat. I have a right to my privacy. I hear the paparazzi got word you were coming out here. Why can't they just leave me alone? They're just like cockroaches. What would you do if one of them made it out here with a camera? Whatever needed to be done. Really. Like drag them under a cabin, cover them in gasoline, and light them on fire? They'd have it coming, right? They're just cockroaches. What? No, look. I talk a big story, and yes, I whacked that reporter in the face with her camera, but I'd never murder someone. I tried to save someone last night. How so? When I saw the counselor's cabin go up in flames, we thought he was still inside. Rob tried to break the door in, but he wasn't strong enough. I looked at Jack, and he was like, "Don't look at me." And Ava said, "Don't look at me either." So much for Ava the superhero. So I did what needed to be done. Ava tried to stop me, said I was nuts. Well, maybe I am nuts because I got a running start and busted right through. Maybe I found my calling and I should rethink the whole diet thing. Anyway, he wasn't in there and I barely got out moments before the roof collapsed. Wow, that was either an unbelievably selfish act or a great attempt at deflecting guilt, Paula. Where were you last night between 10:30 and 1 a.m.? I can't believe you. I went back to my cabin after the bonfire and fell asleep. Slept like a baby till I heard people screaming fire. I understand you're an insomniac. Do you take any sleeping pills last night? No, I was just exhausted from being out of the house all day. I see. Well, that'll be it for now. Medical referral letter to Christopher King from Morris Randall. Let's see. It is my medical opinion that Paula May is suffering from a food addiction. She has recently gained over 40 pounds in a matter of months. I believe her addiction is not caused by lack of willpower, but as a result of a dopamine signal affecting the biochemistry of her brain. I believe her addiction to food is a possible transference or substitute for her addiction to attention, which she got from being an in-demand model. I also believe she's suffering from body dysmorphic disorder, where she perceives herself as being much larger than she is. While it's true she gained a considerable amount, she views herself as morbidly obese, which is not the case. I believe this is a direct result of the unrealistic pressure women are under in today's culture, especially in the fashion industry, to emaciate themselves down to a very unhealthy weight in order to be as thin as possible. Paula is also suffering from borderline agoraphobia, where she goes weeks sometimes without leaving her house out of fear that she'll be seen, photographed, or made fun of. She also has been prone to fits of rage since the weight gain has become quite volatile. In addition to aforementioned conditions, Paula has been experiencing ongoing insomnia for the past few months, most likely brought on by her heightened anxiety over her other issues. Her condition, therefore, is complex: food addiction, body dysmorphia, borderline agoraphobia, anger issues, insomnia. It is my opinion she will need intensive therapy in all these areas, and I believe your unique methods may work wonders. Okay. I wonder if she just hid out on the boat then. I know Christopher brings out his girly friends, so maybe he did. Okay. Last one. Okay, this is Rob Knox. Okay. I was in my cabin but couldn't sleep. The impending bankruptcy keeps me up. But I started thinking about what a good Boy Scout was, and it led to an epiphany around 11 for a revolutionary new invention that will make all my financial problems disappear. I was wrapping up my notes when I heard a woman scream fire and ran out to see Mr. King's cabin on fire. We figured he was in there, and while I was determining the best way to save him, Paula exploded through the front door, but he wasn't there. Moments later, he shows up out resting. He was at the main house, but he came from the other direction. So I asked him about that, and the next thing I know, we're having an emergency therapy session that lasted all night. It was mostly just him insulting us. I wasn't surprised when I found out there was more to the story. You should find out where King was. Too bad there's no hidden security cameras around here. Hee hee. King told us all to stay in our own cabins until morning. This is the reporter, I believe. I recently became a reporter for the Hollywood Hearsay. We're a small gossip paper based in LA. The first assignment I'd been given was to track down Robert Knox and see if the rumors were true that he was going into rehab for a gambling addiction. My editor thought it presented a unique story considering the man runs a high-profile security company but can't keep his own fortune safe from himself. Found him at the Colonia Marina, waiting to board a boat the captain hooked to the Del Fuego Rehab Center. Being that it was my first assignment, I was super excited as well as more than a little nervous. Maybe I should have worked up to my question, but it came out fighting. Oh, I came out fighting right out of the box. I said, "My name is Audrey Collins with Hollywood Hearsay. Is it true that you're going to the rehab for an addiction to gambling?" I never expected him to act the way he did. He grabbed my hand by the wrist and glared at me with the most intense look of hatred I've ever seen. Then he said, "You don't know who you're messing with, lady. Bury this or I'll bury you." He glared a few seconds longer, it felt like forever, then let go of my wrist. I freaked out, ran off to my car, drove back to the paper. My editor wasn't exactly impressed that I took off, but she understood. She wanted to run what we had there, but decided to wait until I could get more. I guess with him now also being a murder suspect, we have that more she was talking about. I'll never forget the look of cold, pure hatred in his eyes. All I did was ask him a question. I shudder to think what he'd do to someone who really crossed him. Um, so it's Rob Francis Knox. He's the president and CEO of SafetyNet, revolutionizing the security industry by linking security cameras into the World Wide Web. Security cameras on the World Wide Web, huh? That's right. Top of the line cameras with fire and carbon monoxide detectors. We link them to the internet so customers can see what's happening in their homes or businesses just by logging into our website. Interesting. Why are you in rehab? I'm working on a slight problem I have with gambling. Slight problem, huh? How's it affected your life? I hit rock bottom 6 years ago, but I'm determined to turn things around, so I work obsessively to do so. Now, the business I built is one of the fastest growing companies in the nation, yet my gambling also has us nearly in bankruptcy. Very sorry to hear that. You and me both. I'm doing everything to keep it secret because I worked so hard to rebuild my reputation. If the public finds out, my good name will be ruined. Your name, Rob Knox. You changed about 6 years ago. Is that correct? Yes, I did. And all of this obsession with rebuilding your reputation and keeping your good name wouldn't have anything to do with what happened back in Georgia, would it? It has everything to do with it. I spoke with Detective Gaynor back there about you this morning. I hear you were the head of campus security at Tubman University for years, and then you went through a messy divorce, is that right? Messy. That's an understatement. My wife left me for some low-life lawyer, and they took me for everything I had. Wow, that stinks. I was broke, desperate, started playing poker with people I shouldn't have. Thought I could make some quick money, but it backfired. Is that when you quit your job and moved into an old storage shack on campus? Yeah, I thought it'd give me time to make a plan as long as nobody found me there. But someone did find you, didn't they? Yes, they did. Max Cahill. Shortly after, Max turned up dead. You were a prime suspect. Unfortunately, yes, but that was a crazy mix-up. He was a great guy who was trying to help me. I had nothing but respect for Max. I understand there wasn't enough evidence to convict, so they closed the case. Yes, that's true. I'm detecting a pattern. 60 years ago, you get mixed up with gambling and someone dies, and now history seems to be repeating itself. Look, I screwed up my life with gambling, not once, but twice, and that was incredibly stupid, but I have never killed anyone. You really hate the press, don't you? What? Where's that coming from? I heard a reporter question you at the marina. You threatened her. I didn't threaten her. I heard you grab her by the wrist, really scared her. A lot of people saw. Okay, I was furious. The press had gotten wind of this. They have the power to ruin me, and I wasn't going down that road again. You know what I think? I think a reporter followed you onto the island. You worked so hard to leave your past buried, and they dug it up, shoved it in your face to make sure your past stayed underground. You put her under the cabin and set it on fire. Absolutely not. I didn't kill anyone. I'm 100% innocent. Again. Where were you last night after the bonfire between 10:30 and 1? You mean before I heard Ava shout fire and ran out to see the counselor's cabin in flames, and then watched Paula May burst through a reinforced cabin door like a B-movie prop? I was in my cabin, inventing something revolutionary that's going to save my business. Got the idea from Scout. I'll give you my notes to prove it if you want. Make a copy or something, though, because I need them back. Yes, I would like to see those notes. Gladly. You should really talk to that counselor Keene. He said he was there in the main house that whole night, but he ran up to us from another direction. I asked him about it, and the next thing I know, we're in an all-night therapy session. Something about breaking us down to build us up later, but 7 hours and a bit long of a breakdown. Anyways, I'm 100% sure he's lying about something. Thanks, Rob. You can leave the investigation to us, okay? We'll be in touch. What in the... Okay. It's a fake dog security cam. Fake fur you can really pet. Power cord tail, hidden camera. Speaker plays barking noises. Pause provides stable bass. In-ear microphone. Secret compartment to hide a key. Hypoallergenic. Idle panting noises. For night vision, it fits in all small places like adjustable night for towers. Biting zoom. Pooch patrol. Robo. Let's see. Big ideas. Budget. Marketing. Warehouse. Manufacturing. Partner. Okay. Well, that's everybody. I don't know. Maybe she took a separate vote. So my thing is like if King K was in like I don't know if King actually did it, but supposedly King came from the other side, and he's known to have his girlfriends on this thing, on the mainland. So maybe he had them come back after. Okay, so let's see. Pick another. Pick another bow. When did she go missing? Jasmine? 2000, right? Yeah. Let's see. Huh. Let's see. Okay. So let's see. Let's see these pictures again. Because I might have been on to something. No. No. Okay. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to actually do this right so you guys can see it. Oh, we can try. Let me see. Let's see. I don't think so. Dang it. Maybe. So, on there, it's like a little 6908. So it looks like a possible boat number. Yeah, because then if you look over here, it's right there as well. And it's the same boat number. So let's see. Group picture at Marina and the burned building. Let's check it. Yeah. Okay. So you solved it. Jane Doe took another boat that was docked at the marina. Now open the envelope marked bonus, envelope A, to send the dive team out to investigate the shipwreck. Cool. Okay. So let's see. Might be. All right. Let's open. Dang it. Come on. Really? These things. Okay. Oh, cool. More pictures, I think. Or a lot more stuff, obviously. These are always the bulkiest, the first ones. I've played these a few times, like these different ones. I played a twin one, and I played something else. Huh, I can't remember. Anyway, all right. All right, so that's our second objective is who. Okay, here's the shipwreck. Oh, here's all the stuff. Interesting. Okay, we'll look at that in a second. Let's first look at this, and then we will. Received a tip from an independent investigator concerning the murder of an unidentified Jane Doe found in 2001 on the island of Del Fuego and believed it warranted further investigation. Yes! The investigator found washed up remnants of a sunken ship on the shore of Del Fuego Island, matching a sailboat known to be docked at the Polonia Marina, 12 miles north, less than 24 hours earlier. The evidence convinced us that Jane Doe had taken the sailboat from the marina to Del Fuego Island, and the boat capsized offshore. In response to the new information, we conducted a complete forensic dive to look for the wreck and any possible clues in the unsolved cold case. Our dive team, consisting of Lieutenant Gary LaGrange and Stu Hansen, was dispatched to the location, arriving at approximately 2:15 p.m. After spending about an hour exploring the area near Del Fuego Island, we discovered a sunken boat about 200 yards off the shore of the island. The boat appeared to match the description of the boat we were looking for. We were unable to collect any valuable information or evidence from the actual boat, but Officer Hansen found a sealed plastic bag inside the boat's watertight storage compartment. The contents of the bag were brought back to headquarters for analysis and were detailed within this report. The bag included a map to the island with instructions written for Jane Doe how to get to the island on the night of the murder. The map with instructions for Jane Doe confirms the items we found belonged to the Jane Doe who was murdered on Del Fuego Island back in April 2001. Due to the age of the items and their location over the past few decades, we were unable to retrieve any worthwhile forensic evidence such as saliva, fingerprints, or other DNA sources. We are still unable to determine the identity of Jane Doe, but believe additional investigation is warranted, and a team of skilled detectives may be able to ascertain the identity of Jane Doe and perhaps even her killer with the additional evidence we found. Okay, and then this is the list. Chunky bars and wrappers, money clip with cash, brass anchor, bifold with 3 ones and a 20, pocket knife, slice of Heaven brand used condition, flashlight, brand name worn off, double A battery inside, very corroded, necklace, tan rope with 2 medallions. One medallion has a mysterious symbol inscribed on it, unable to make out the writing on the other one. Dental floss, floss like a boss, inscription somewhat used. Polymer passion pink lip gloss, lightly used. Compass, old brow, circa 1950, contacts, lens case, no name brand, prescription contacts for 2040-2050 vision. Bracelet jewelry with 5 aquamarine gemstones. Inscription on back of the charm reads "Happy Birthday." Beef jerky, super slim beef jerky stick, spicy flavor, partially eaten but torn, no bite marks. 20.4 grams. Purple asthma inhaler by Easy Breathe used. Nintendo Game Boy Color dark purple with Miss Pac-Man game cartridge inside. So our girls, a few of them have asthma, and I know. Okay, so and here's the. Okay. So this is where I'm gonna have to like break out my stuff. Break out the pen. All right. So let's see. Who is this? Oh, this is Jasmine. Okay, so Jasmine, she was born 1/28/1980. Okay. Showing up between so she's has asthma, but she's also allergic to nuts and raisins. So that can't be her because the chunky bars is mixed nut and raisin version, so it can't be her. It can't be her. And then it's not Maria. I'm gonna be. She was born 8/19/1982. She does have contact lenses. She is asthmatic. But I don't know, even from her picture, she's not wearing anything. This is gonna be a weird thing, but when the picture, it's not a weird. I don't think it's a weird symbol. I think it's it's a zodiac sign, but I forget what zodiac is. It's Pisces, and Pisces is born February 20th to March 20th. So this is 20 Feb to March 20. That's what I think it is, at least. I think it's a zodiac sign. I don't know. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that's a zodiac sign necklace. And then aquamarine. So that would mean that it probably is Maria. The date. She was born March 29th. Date of birth. Oh, you whole bitch. This is Emma. And then Kim. Well, okay, let's look at Emma first. So she wears she uses an albuterol inhaler for asthma. I just don't know when she was born because it's hidden. I don't think breathe easy. I think that's a brain. Okay, well, her car was left at the marina. She went missing so long ago, though. She went missing in 1995. So for 6 years, she was missing. She wears contacts or glasses. She was born in the right time. She was born on February 21st. Is she asthmatic? Has mild asthma. Okay. She's missing. The last place she went to was the Apollina Marina to take pictures of the sailboat. She can't swim. Should never let her go. She was supposed to be back for brunch at 11, but never came home. This isn't like her. Her car's still down there, and I'm so afraid she must have fallen in the water. Please help find her daughter. Well, it's probably her then. Um, yeah, it had to be her then. Um, it was the necklace and honestly the inhaler. What? Um, it has to be Kim Rose's son, right? It's not Kim? Well, then it has to be Emma. Because Kim matches the only one. It's a Pisces, but they stamped it out. You can't even tell what her date of birth is. Oh, that's so annoying. Well, okay, so when did they? Okay, so it is Emma. Well, then they're a dick for hiding her fucking birthday. I guess in the thing it says we were holding out to tell her about it on her birthday tomorrow, and it was entered in 311. So. Okay then. Still, dick move. But I wonder who gave her that nap. I wonder if it was like someone trying to get her to talk to Paula or something. Because she wants to be a supermodel, right? Where's Emma's? Yeah, she wanted to go into modeling in a big city like LA or New York. Her dad and I were against it because those places are full of questionable people. She was really mad at us about it, too. Broke our hearts, so we saved up and bought us a trip to LA for a few weeks so she could pursue her dream. Only problem was, we were holding out to tell her about it on her birthday, tomorrow. But she left not knowing, and we think she left because she thought we were holding her back. My heart's in a million pieces. Well, Mama, I'm sorry to say that your daughter is now. Okay, let's. Okay. Convict the killer. Ish who did. Hello there. For so many years, I've dreamed my daughter would walk through our front door. I'd throw my arms around her and never let go. And now I've been forced to accept it's a fantasy that will never come true. I have to let my sunshine go. That's what I called her, my sunshine. She was the light of my life, a light that has now gone eternally dark due to the findings in your investigation. It's almost too much to bear. My Emma Lynn loved photography. She was so kind. She'd do free photo shoots for all of the town folk who couldn't afford to bring their kids to a portrait studio. She had dreams of becoming a professional photographer, but the more people told her she looked like Paula May, the more she thought she belonged on the other side of the lens. Emma became obsessed with the idea of modeling. She put just as much passion into that as she did her photography. She got some local work, but was desperate to go to New York or Los Angeles to pursue it, while her dad and I were adamant that she stay away from places like that. There are also so many reminders of Emma Lynn around town. So many years have gone by, but I still need to pull over sometimes after passing the Dairy Queen she loved. March is especially difficult, as each year marks another without her. I turn on the TV to distract myself, and there's Paula May hosting Saturday Night Live again. She's aged so gracefully. It's hard not to imagine that's what my Emma would have looked like if she were around today. I see Emma Lynn everywhere. My daughter had a very trusting nature, and that made her naive to the ways of the world. I blame myself because I sheltered her so much. I just didn't want anything to happen to my baby, but it completely backfired. It rips my heart out, especially now that I know she's gone forever. Knowing that Emma Lynn is no longer missing has brought a certain sense of relief, but it's opened a whole new range of emotions that are ever harder to cope with. Which of those people on that island did this to my Emma Lynn? I can't bear not knowing. We hired a private investigator when she went missing, but things got hard at the farm without Emma Lynn's help. I've enclosed the final letter he sent us after we ran out of money. Apparently, she started working for some shady character named Ari Cruz, but we were never able to figure out who that was. I know in my heart that if we can just find the connection between Ari Cruz and one of the people on that island, it will lead us to find the real killer. I beg you, please don't give up trying to find out what happened to our baby. That's so sad. Okay. So this is April 28th. So this was 5 days after the fire. Okay. I'm very sorry we need to put the investigation on hold due to financial concerns because I'm so close to finding Emma Lynn. Hopefully, when things turn around at the cranberry farm, I can get back to work and bring her home. Here are the results of my investigation so far. As you stated, Emma Lynn had dreams of becoming a model and became obsessed with Paula May, as she'd been told so many times she looked like her. She begged you to let her pursue a career in modeling, but you refused. On the morning of her birthday, you found her bed had been slept in and her suitcase was gone. You called the police, but of course, they were no help. So you did a smart thing, called me. Another classic case of a naive Midwestern girl running away from the farm to pursue fame and fortune. Wish I had a nickel for every time I saw this one. After making well over 100 phone calls, I was eventually able to track Emma Lynn's whereabouts to LA. Apparently, she'd been working as a cocktail waitress at a nightclub called Club Pyro. I assumed she was using a fake ID since she was underage. That's interesting. I called Club Pyro and asked for Paula May with a tooth gap. The manager knew her and was helpful at first. She explained they haven't seen her in about a week, and then her voice trailed off. I asked where she was, and the manager sounded very nervous. She was hesitant to say anything, but I eventually got her to reveal that Emma Lynn had just started working for a shady character by the name of Ari Cruz. I called a friend of mine who retired in Inglewood, and he told me Ari Cruz had a hand in several pies, all rumored to be highly unsavory pies, but it's very hard to track down. It's rumored that Ari Cruz has ties to a few questionable modeling agencies and also, oh, excuse me, in a storage facility near the airport. It's also highly likely Cruz is involved in drug trafficking and perhaps even an illegal gambling ring. Okay. I couldn't find any criminal records, and all my public record searches came up empty. So far, tracking down Artie Cruz is like trying to find a ghost, but I'm sure we'll find Emmeline if I can. I'm sorry I can only do so much over the phone. Find the funds to get me out to LA to track down this Artie Cruz character. Bring Emmeline home where she belongs. I'm so close. Okay. So, let's see. Okay. Let's see. I wonder if I can't match. I don't think I can, but I'm gonna try. You probably can't. Where's Ptolemy? I don't know. Interesting. Okay. Well, that's okay. So he kind of has his hand in a lot of stuff. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Let's go back to this really quick. As much as I think it would probably be, I don't think it'll be her. She just has a food addiction. I think, I don't know. If it is her, I'm gonna be shocked. You have a gambling addiction. Let's look at you really quick. So his name was different when he left. So you have him. He does marijuana. I don't know. Maybe it's worth looking. Part of me thinks it might be the security guard because of Ari Yerowitz. Hmm. I don't know. Christopher Aiden King. Um, let's see. I don't know. Let's see. What's this Christopher stuff? Maybe. I'm not sure. Oh, excuse me. Um, see, in his report, See, in his arrest report, it talks about a girl named Rebecca Burns who he picks up, and then he supposedly took her home. So I think this arrest report is crucial. The issue is I don't know what else is. Let's see. And she talks about doing a sting for Rosa Cruz. Oh, so wait, hold on. Okay, well, okay. So at least with the immunity agreement, we know that it's Rosa, not Ari. Rosa. Hmm. Hmm. I might have to get my husband in here to help me. I have no idea. I don't know who could have. Because it was hmm. 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 Oh crap. Okay. Um. Interesting. Okay. So oh, let me. Let me present my screen. So, yep, and share. Okay. So let's see here.
Shocking news today, as world famous actress Ava B. Lawrence has confessed to murdering a 17-year-old girl decades ago. On April 23, 2001, officials found the remains of a murdered woman while investigating a fire on Del Fuego Island, a rehab facility 12 miles off the coast of LA. Lawrence was on the island at the time and was a suspect, but police never identified the girl and the case was closed. But a recent team of investigators proved she was Emma Lynn Simpson, a 17-year-old runaway from Wisconsin. They also uncovered that Emma Lynn worked for Ava B. Lawrence's drug dealer. Once police learned of the connection between the two, Ava B. Lawrence was brought in for questioning and confessed. According to Ava's statement, Emma Lynn was hired to take a boat to the island and deliver her drugs. But the boat sunk and she swam to shore. When Lawrence found out the drugs were lost, she accidentally killed her. She then dragged the body under a cabin and burned it down to hide the evidence. We'll have a heartbreaking interview with the victim's mother, Darla Jean Simpson, later in the broadcast.
Good gravy. Okay. Um, let's see here. So Ari Cruz is Rosa. Elena Cruz, alias R.E. Cruz. Yeah, maybe Rosa Elena Cruz. Oh, yeah. Well, we did it. We solved it, y'all. So, thank you so much for joining me on that journey. I hope you all enjoyed it. I have a few more of these, so if you guys want more, please let me know. It was a lot of fun doing this with y'all. Something fun and easy to do, make your brain work. So, with all that being said, I love you all. I hope you all have a spectacular night, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, my friends.